board. Got it. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Carson Chamber of Commerce Economic Development Committee. My name is Michael Stewart. I'm the chair of the committee, and I wish to call this meeting to order. We have a number of people here. If you're just on phone, that's good. I still would like to see all of you if I could. Thank you. I would do and like to give you the chairman's report. Basically, our report is to give you our mission. Our mission all this year and from now on is to showcase Carson, showcase the good things, the positive aspects of Carson, and how we are a growing, vibrant community. Our methodology is bringing information, which is a fact for our people, giving aspiration to businesses to grow and stick to it and make sure that you'll grow with our vibrant community, and giving aspiration for leadership and growth by the chamber to grow and be well. Our speaker for the day is Julia L. Marino. She's the Public Affairs Senior Advisor, Phillips 66. She will give us a report on the Marine Oil Terminal Wharf Improvement Project. This project will buttress our economy, buttress the oil industry by investing funds to bring improvements to their service facilities and make sure that our community can grow. We have to have a buttress or support as we make the transition from these aspects of oil that we have now to an issue whereby oil can be moderated and developed and moved into the new transition phase, which has a 30-year to 50-year horizon to giving us alternative fuels rather than the oil service fuels. And the oil service fuels will be a mixture. There'll be all of us working together to keep our economy growing. So what I want to do is to give Julia Marino the floor. She is a great person, very knowledgeable, and the Economic Development Committee knows and that we must grow together so that we can be together for true growth. This is
thank you so much for the great introduction. Barry, can I ask you to give me the ability to share my screen? I'm logged in under my name.
You should be able to. It says anyone can share now.
It doesn't allow me to.
I'm out of things I can do from my end.
Okay.
Who can share? All participants.
And we just don't see them. It's okay. Well, I'll go ahead and share the screen. I just won't be able to see you guys until the end. So we'll watch you from my iPad though. You can see the presentation now, right?
We will make sure to make only nice faces.
Yeah. You can make any faces afterwards. Any, tongue sticking or whatever. So okay, perfect. So the some of you on this call have already seen a version of this presentation. So those that are new to hearing about this project, thank you for joining, and hopefully we can give you a good understanding of the project that we have, and hopefully we can get your support. So the Marine Oil Terminal Wharf Improvement Project is at berths 148 and through 151. It is a safety project, and it is a state mandated project. So it's not necessarily something that we are coming up with. It's a required standard that we are trying to meet. So let's jump in. So this is a picture here of the berths, 148, 149, and then berth 150, 151. So the project is at the Port of LA on Pier A in Wilmington. At this facility, we have 26 storage tanks and facilities which include non-operational wharfs. So that's the non-operational wharf at berths 150 and 151. So this is an older wooden structure. And then we have concrete wharfs at berths 148 and 149, which is where we currently conduct vessel transfer operations. So that's what you're looking at here. There we receive lube oil blend stocks delivered by ocean-going vessels that is transferred through trucks to a packing plant in Los Angeles to produce lubricant. At the terminal, we transfer intermediate feedstocks, so gas oils, gasoline blends, and gasoline blend stocks to and from the LA refinery. We also export finished products such as jet and diesel fuels to consumers and import renewable diesel for gas stations throughout Southern California. So definitely want to emphasize that, you know, these commodities are consistent with what is specified in, so again, the project is an upgrade project. Like I've said, it's not something that we're necessarily, it's not something that we're kind of just coming up with. We are not transferring crude oil at this terminal. And it is not an expansion to the Los Angeles refinery. It is part of our current operations. And we are looking to maintain the same capacity as we have had currently. So again, it's just an upgrade project. Currently, we have so this is kind of what our goal is, to upgrade the marine terminal to prevent from oil spills, protect the community, really. So there's really, you know, once we do get permitting, which hopefully we can with your support, these are the steps that we'll follow. So we'll upgrade berths 148 and 149, and demo berths 150 and 151, and that's where we'll construct the new compliant berths, and then we'll decommission 148 and 149 again.
And so then what is going to go where 148 and 149 is? I know it's not in use, but what is there anything that will go there?
I will have Mike Beck will answer that question.
Yeah, berths 148 and 149. So that's the berth that's currently in operation right now. So when this project is done, that berth will remain there, but it will be essentially decommissioned. And so the structure will remain there, but it'll only be used maybe occasionally in case maybe a tugboat needs to tie up to the berth while the activities at the new berth take place. And so it won't be used for transferring any material. It's essentially going to be out of service, so it'll just remain there and just be used for occasional vessel tie-off, but not for regular activities.
Well, my understanding is that in berths 150 and 151, they were timber wharfs, so we're going to in there and upgrade that wharf, associate and bring in new equipment with seismic safety standards.
Yes. And
also, this is the key point. We're looking at giving in these temporary improvements and going for alternative use during the construction issuance of a new 20-year entitlement. That's important. We need time to transition to new uses for electric energy. and for power from oil. So we're want to look for a 20-year entitlement with 2 potential 10-year additional options in your entitlement process. That'll give us that time to make the transition and to be relevant. That's what we're looking of supporting. That's why you're talking about. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, so we currently do have a month-to-month lease at the terminal, and we're working with the Port of LA to secure a long-term lease. Where, there's negotiations between the Port of LA and Phillips 66 currently, and that's where we're looking to have we're looking at up to a 40-year lease. But there is a potential of it being two 10-year lease terms. So we're still, again, in negotiations, and you'll see in the picture that the negotiations also include the additional acreage, which is, I don't know if you can see that blue outline right in the middle of that picture. So that's additional acreage that will be included in the lease that will be used for lay down and staging or storage.
Yeah, so we're basically looking at a 20, 10, and 10, or 20-year with two 10-year options. Go over that horizon for the transition, and also the upgrade will be that information acquisition of land in the middle. That was my understanding in looking at the plans.
Correct.
All right.
So so again, this is kind of the steps that we'll follow once we do get the permitting, hoping that we can get that this year. So the project again is the MOTEM standard applies to all marine terminals in California. So it's something really important to note. It's not unique to Phillips 66. All the marine terminals have to meet the state mandated requirements. So the project will provide, again, a MOTEM's compliant fendering system for docking. For docking ships and barges at berths that are currently in use, which is what berth 148 and 149. For limited operation while we construct the new MOTEM's compliant facility at berths 150 and 151. The wooden wharfs at berths 150 and 151, they haven't been used since 2008, so this upgrade is essential to continue operations at the terminal. And long-term plans are to utilize the new MOTEM's compliant facility at berths 150 and 151 and limit the future use of berths 148 and 149 to occasional operations to reduce congestion in the channel. So
correct.
So maybe it's worth mentioning that. So this MOTEM's, the standard, it's the Marine Oil Terminal Engineering and Maintenance Standards. And so the three key things that improvements it'll give us will be we'll have a berth that'll be designed for the latest seismic standards. So that's earthquake protection for the structure down in the Port of LA. It's going to have the most up-to-date fireproofing standards, fire protection standards that are required. And also the design itself is going to be they'll be less likely to have any drips or spills from operation of the facility. And that's because all the piping going up to the new berth will be entirely in an area where it won't be above water. And the loading operation will be a more state-of-the-art operation. And so all in all, it's really a benefit to the safety and the environment for the operation down in the Port of LA.
So what you're seeing here in the picture is what it will look like when it's complete. So this is a picture of another berth that went through this upgrade. So you can see the fendering system there, and that's again to improve safety and have a newer reinforced concrete structure that is safe around the seismic.
Yeah, what this is a kind of an illustration of one of the other MOTEM's upgrades that have taken place already in the Port of LA. So the fendering system is in place to actually protect the structure when vessels come into the facility, because sometimes as they get stationed up next to the dock, depending on how the water movement is, sometimes they can hit the structure harder than we like. And so the fendering system is just like something that will be on your automobile. It's just to protect the structure from any bumps that may take place. And so this is the type of structure that we're going to be installing as in stage one of the project to protect the existing berth that's in operation right now as we do the construction at the adjacent wharf. And we will have a similar structure around the new berth once that's constructed as well. So this is just kind of a sneak peek as to what you'll see down there and to kind of give you a feel for what a fendering system looks like.
So that'll give us added safety, that'll upgrade for seismic issues, and then we'll be protecting our people in our investment and getting rid of those wooden wharfs. I had to go take a look at that, the wooden wharfs out there. So, okay.
Yeah. So the facilities will include hose handling equipment, manifold piping, fire protection equipment, and spill prevention and response equipment. So there will be a reduction of overwater footprint of approximately 16,000 square feet from the footprint of the current existing timber wharf. So the proposed project would replace existing loading hoses with better technology, pipelines that have modern articulated arms that would reduce the potential of any leakage during product transfers. And then overall, we will have an improved and safer product transfer operation. So that's what it is. It's being able to continue operating, maintaining our current capacity, but making it a safer operation. So the use of the marine terminal will not change. We will continue to import and export intermediate feedstocks, import renewable diesel to supply gas stations in Southern California, and export finished diesel. Again, we don't transfer crude. It is currently not allowed by the current permitting, and we're not seeking to change that permitting. And again, the capacity will remain the same as we currently have. The last thing to highlight here is that the Port of LA is in the process of currently through April 10th is in the process of receiving public comments on the project. So those that are able to support us can still write a letter of support through April 10th. And some of the things that we would like to highlight to get your support is that we are committed to safety. We're committed to giving back in the community where we work. The Los Angeles refinery alone provides nearly 700 well-paying jobs.
Yes.
And indirectly supports thousands of contractors. The project will be worked on by the California Trades Labor for Construction. So it will generate additional jobs during that 2-year plus construction period.
You have a project labor agreement already.
Repeat your question again?
You have a project labor agreement with the critical trades in our local area right now.
Yeah, we've had, our refinery managers has talked with, I believe Robbie Hunter of the building trades and had conversations and made a commitment that we will use union labor for the construction of the job.
Okay, thank you.
So again, the project at the marine terminal does not expand our operations. Our utilization rate can change based on future needs again, but we are maintaining the same capacity that we have. The marine terminal is not being used up to capacity necessarily, and we're maintaining the same capacity to be able to fluctuate if needed. One of the things to point out, one of the examples we have used is that, 6+ years ago, we weren't working or moving, renewable diesel as much, and there was no demand for it. But now this is one of the materials that is being moved through the marine terminal. So again, it's important to, kind of understand, for you all to understand what our intentions are. You can definitely feel free to connect with me on any other questions that you may not be able to ask here. Email address on the screen. That's the Public Affairs email address. And kind of ready to take on any questions from you all.
Can I just I want to stress one thing about this whole project here is, and Juliana touched on it, is, we're trying to educate as many folks about what the project is as well as what it isn't, because when this first came up for discussion last year and public comments were talked about, there were a lot of folks that were saying that this was tied to an expansion of the refinery. A lot of folks said, hey, they're going to bring crude oil in. So we want to actually dispel that and make sure people understand that one, we've never had the capability of bringing crude oil in at this terminal, and we never will. We are not doing that as part of this project, and that's not our intention. And then the second thing is that this is not an expansion of the marine terminal, and it's not an expansion of the refinery. All we're doing, like Juliana says, is we're maintaining the capabilities to do what we can do today. We're gonna keep those capabilities when we modernize this facility. So there is no expansion. That's not the intention. So if people think there's an expansion going on, it's not true at all. So we want to really stress that to everybody. All we're trying to do is build a NOTAMs compliant marine terminal that retains our current capabilities.
Great. Are there any other questions? Feel free to ask those. We have time. Are there any other questions?
Should letters be sent directly to the court, or how's that?
Yes. So we do have a draft letter, just as kind of suggested with suggested language that can be used. So I can email everybody that's on this call if you would like, or what's the best way that you connect with this committee?
Yeah, I can certainly do that. I think we've already sent this out actually in an e-blast.
Yes, I did. So there's the letters that the support letters can be sent or should be sent directly to the Port of LA. And again, the window for that closes April 10th. And that's going to support and be part of, they will be taken into consideration as the draft EIR is being put together.
So I just sent you a copy of our letter, which is currently spitting out of the printer, and we will be sending that.
Great. Any questions from anyone?
Ray, you don't have a question?
Yeah, I think that. Thank you, Amy.
This is my first time hearing about it, so it's very informative, and I really understand that they have stressed the fact that it is not an expansion. So I do understand that, and it's just I guess an update or modernization of the current facility. So it was very informative because I did not know that this was going on, and it's probably because it's not directly involved with Carson, but it's really good to know what's happening. Now I saw the close-up of where that terminal lies. Do you have a photo that maybe is a little further out so you can kind of see the surrounding? Because you kind of zeroed in right where that facility was. I'm just trying to put it in perspective to where it's actually located in the Wilmington port.
The final picture. Oh yeah, there's a map in there, the slide presentation.
Let me see if I can pull up the picture.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I was just curious because I was just trying to put it in my mind where that exactly was.
Because
if we need to, we can even move the camera to take a look at it.
Oh yeah, that would be better. Hold on, give us 1 second. Actually, we may be able to just show you a picture. Does that come up?
Yeah, because I'm a bicycle rider, and I ride down there a lot, and I was just where it was in relationship.
Okay. Yeah, you can't.
Too far.
Is it too far?
a little bit too far.
Here we go. Now can you look over Juliana's shoulder and can you see that map?
I see something on the wall. Yes.
Okay.
Give us 1 second. I'm gonna stop the camera for 1 second.
Okay. But you can go on to other questions, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thanks, Ray, for your question. Basically, it's in the sphere of influence of the community. We're a dynamo in the port area, only 8 miles from the port of LA and the port of Los Angeles. And what we do is we have our manufacturing industrial base here that generates and feeds directly down the Alameda corridor, down Main Street in Wilmington to those facilities. We are an integral part of the total port area here because of our economic logistical location with all the 4 freeways and the Alameda running through our city. So it's part of our sphere of influence that we looked at that. We look at how this city can grow and be a part of any improvement. And the project labor agreement is already there. So we have our labor groups will be involved.
So we have thank you for all. Yes, absolutely right on that. Sure. This is still part of. Here's a map that we have hanging on our wall.
Yeah. So I know this is a little bit ad hoc right now, but just to give you a perspective of kind of where this is, berths 148, 149, 150, 151 are right down here at the very tip of. This is the trade pack facility right here. As you go down from Wilmington, you go down Fry's and work your way down.
Okay.
And this is the Love Boat terminal from years ago, I think, is the one that's just on the right of that, if that gives you perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of bike riding, since I do bike riding down there as well, you probably don't get down here too often, but I've been about as close as here as I go through the port, and I can kind of get a view of it. But it's kind of a dead-end street as you go down here. But to kind of give you perspective, this is the facility we're talking about, right down at the tip of this peninsula.
Okay, now is that anywhere near Waterfront Park?
Waterfront Park is, I think, Waterfront. Oh, that's the one at Pedro, or is it in Wilmington? Waterfront Park, I think, is right up here.
Right. Okay, I was going to say, I think I passed through there, and I see, because you mentioned Fry's, and I know where Avalon kind of ends and kind of goes that straight down through there. I think that's the intersection right there, where Avalon ends, if I
I've got this
Right,
right.
okay,
One
yeah,
of these
so
two
I-
intersections, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
Yeah, the power plant, I think is, I'm trying to
Yeah,
think. Right around here, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah.
the one you
Okay.
can see. And the tray pack building, I believe, is, gosh, right around here. This may be an older map.
Okay, but I at least
This is
know where
Josh
we're
Gibson
kind of
right
talking
here.
about now, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Well, this
I'll
is a
move the
major
camera back
Okay,
then.
we're gonna move the camera back.
Thank you for your help and giving him that perspective. We thank you for agreeing to be our main speakers for our chamber meeting today.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
sorry, we're moving the camera back, yes.
Okay.
So, Ray, thank you for your question.
Now, the
Nice.
Carson
Yeah.
Chamber, we are keenly aware of this project. We believe that and support
I think-
this project.
I heard somebody say this is the first time they've heard of such a project, and that was one of the things to point out too, is most other marine oil terminals in the Port of LA and Port of Long Beach have already done their MOTEMS projects, and so they've gotten those out of the way, but they did them a couple of years earlier, and so they didn't quite get the scrutiny that our project is getting. So we're one of the last ones to go, and we really just want to be able to execute the project and get this project in place, so we're in par with the other facilities.
Great. Barry, I think this is a good item. We already support you, and we will be sending our letter from the Chamber of Commerce in support, okay?
Thank you. One thing to point out, so community members can also, thank you, Barry. Community members can also write support letters. This is, again, the emphasis is on safety, improved safety for the community. So it can also be individuals that write the support letters.
Thank you. Well, I think this is good information. Thank you for answering those questions. We're going to move on with the agenda, but I just want to say that economic development is the effort of all of us. Business, city, ports, railroads, all of us, so that we can have sustained growth in our community, especially in this region. So thank you for that input, and you have our support from the Chamber of Commerce. Our next item we're going to move on to, please listen to this too, is a report by Barry Waite, the Carson Chamber President, who will present a report on economic and planning initiatives in the Carson community. Barry?
Okay, so I just wanted to touch on some things that I think most of you, let's see, looking at the names here, at least almost all of you, if not all of you, will be at the State of the City on Thursday. We have, I believe, like 42 tables now. So we've got a good crowd planned, which is great. And so I just wanted to mention some of the things I'm going to go over, some interesting demographics. I'll just do a quick version of this. The daytime population of Carson, or the nighttime population, is 96,000. So that's the people who live in Carson. But the daytime population is almost 105,000. So we have the daytime population swells by about 8,000 people. And the employment of Carson residents, about 60% are white collar workers, 25% blue collar, and the rest in service industries. Let's see. I wanted to mention this. There's something called a wealth index, and that compares us to other areas. And so with 100 being the norm, so the wealth index for Carson is 121. So Carson residents are doing just fine. On the other end of the scale, housing affordability is only a 77. And that doesn't surprise anybody. Carson housing is not cheap. But another good one, diversity index, with a 0 being there's no diversity in a community, and 100 being a total random mix. Carson's at an 89, which I think is great. Looking at spending, Carson residents spend a lot of money on travel. a lot of money on movies and museums and audio. So I thought that was interesting, with a median household income of about $97,000.
Mm-hmm.
Employment overview. Wanted to point out here that we have 49,000 employees in the city amongst 4,000 businesses. I'm going to get more to that in just a second. The vast majority of people drive to work. That's no surprise. And employment, again, is mostly white collar, and with a median disposable income. This is a great number, $78,000. So that's the amount that's available after housing, after other necessities, $78,000. Top 10 employment sectors in Carson. Number 1, manufacturing, the retail trade, professional, scientific, and tech services, wholesale trade, transportation, warehousing, and so on. But I don't think most people realize that manufacturing is so big. I'm going to talk a little about the services of the South Bay Workforce Investment Board and all they can do for businesses and for employees. Mention the Small Business Development Center out of El Camino College. It's one of our supporters. And then I'm going to talk about the Carson General Plan, which the City Council will be considering on Tuesday. And one of the things I want to make a point of is that the plan originally included adding housing right next to residential areas, or right next to industrial areas. But we wouldn't put industrial next to residential, so we certainly wouldn't want to do the other way around. And so we're glad that the city agreed with us and changed that. Some things the chamber does for you: we promote business to business, we create networking opportunities, we provide information and resources for businesses to grow, we connect businesses in the community, we serve as a forum for community organization and businesses to work together, we advocate for our members, and we provide economic gardening, which means we want to create an environment that is healthy for people to do business, whatever type of business they are, whatever size business they are. And then coming events, we have quarterly breakfast. We have the Economic Development Committee meetings like this one. We have our Government Affairs Committee, which tracks legislation and goings on. Leadership Carson, the next class will be starting in June. And mixers are back. And we currently have 5 organizations that have asked to host. And I look up here because I've got my list on the wall. So those are the things that we plan to talk about.
Very good, Barry. Any questions of Barry?
Yeah, Barry, when you say we plan to talk about them on Thursday at the State of the City?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yep. So anyway, and so this presentation is being recorded. I'm going to save it, and then when we get out, it will eventually post onto the chamber YouTube page in our lovely channel, and then we'll add it onto our website so that people are aware of this.
Barry, and also I'd like to put in our next items is that items for future discussion by the Economic Development Commission. We may even do breakfast meetings whereby people can speak to us on these particular items. There's a lot of concern. We want to update on the Costco development proposals in the city of Carson. We've heard there are proposals. We've heard that there have been meetings. We do not know the stage or where they are and when they're ready to apply and put applications in. It would be good not to be a surprise, but we would like to know what is going on because that would be a crucial factor for our community. We would like to have an annual infrastructure report. Top 10 items. Top 10. You know, when I look at the budget, it's pages and pages. We want to know 1, 2, 3, 4. What are the top 10 projects right now that we're going to accomplish this year? C, we want a presentation from management of the new, the new Fletcher Jones Toyota of Carson dealership. Now, this dealership is now owned by Fletcher Jones Chevrolet Corporation. That company was around in the 50s, and now they're in 13 different locations. I met with their manager of sales, and he's interested in joining the Carson community, doing things in the Carson community. But right now, he doesn't have his signage up. I went over there and there was a sign, but he had a paper hanger up there about his sign. He needs to get that going and get going. But they're selling cars, and they want to make sure the maintenance is well and the cars that they sell is well done, and that they'll have economic resurgence of sales on the car street. I would like to have a presentation from the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Committee, and we discussed that a little bit today. We do have one of our members that meets regularly with the IOC Los Angeles Committee, and my understanding is through that effort of our membership person, they're going to be coming to the business community to discuss their options, plans, and get input from the business community and the local community on the 2028 Olympics. We've made this step so that we can be right there for our community, because we want to have the mama papas, the large businesses, the home-based businesses, and the Fortune 500, Fortune 100 are all to benefit from this new Olympics proposals. That's the end of my report. And any other questions?
I wanted to let you know that just today, we'll ignore the ringing phone here. Just today, we got a request from the Metropolitan Water District wanting to do an update on the Pure Water Southern California program. So they would like to do a presentation on May the 18th, May 16th. So we'll be setting that up.
On what day is that?
May 16th. That is a Tuesday.
Okay, we can make that as established meeting of economic development. I like that.
I will let them know.
I recommend that we do that.
So how do you like that? We got another one set while we're already talking about one. So
okay,
we're popular.
I think we have had a good informative meeting. I just want to hear any other issues that one with general discussion would like to talk about. I'm waiting for oral communication.
No, this was good for us. Obviously, I'm with Rexford Industrial. We're a fairly large stakeholder in Carson, so always looking to hear more on the economic development side on, how we can keep investing in the community, because it's been one of the favorite places for us to invest over the years.
Well, that's what we do. We're here to showcase Carson and all the good things at Carson. That is our vision. Showcase Carson, period. That's what we're trying to do. I would like to say thank you for all of you attending this meeting, and we're going to end the meeting at this time. Thank you.